While Starfield is finally out, the journey into the stars is far from over. In 2024, we will get a number of updates to Starfield, adding bug fixes, quality of life updates, new features, and content from Bethesda and the community. So let's talk about it. Let me know what you're most excited for Starfield. Is it the Shattered Space expansion or the other updates that are coming? Now, just before the end of the year, Bethesda posted an update on the Starfield Reddit and their official website recapping their journey so far with the player numbers, favorite weapons, meals, and powers. And hang on a second. Wait, why is Sense Star Stuff the most used power? Haven't you all watched my powers video? So this update also mentioned a few key features coming in 2024, namely city maps, new ways to travel, new ways to customize your ships, new gameplay options to further adjust difficulty, official mod support with the launch of Creations, and our first story expansion, Shattered Space. So let's break it down and we'll start there. Now in this post, BGS says that they are hard at work on the development of Shattered Space, our first major expansion coming next year. You'll have new story content, new locations, new gear, and much more. We can't wait to share more with you next year. While I am interested in the new locations and the gear, the most interesting part to me is that new story content and what that actually entails. Now, the most obvious answer here is going to be House Va'ruun. There's a ton of hints that there's more happening with House Va'ruun in the base game. For example, the star map in the United Colonies HQ has sort of like that unknown hint there. And even Andrasia's quest line gives you more information and lore about House Va'ruun and information there. I won't say much more about it, but it's absolutely worth doing Andrasia's quest line. You'll know what I'm talking about if you have done it. And considering there's a main group to House Va'ruun that's just entirely absent from the base game other than the enemies, there's a pretty clear indication that there is more to expand on here and that BGS will be doing that. What's also important to note here is the terminology used, specifically the word first major expansion to Starfield. BGS are no strangers to DLC, even were one of the first to add DLCs to their games, like actually on discs. Like I talked about this in my Fallout 3 video that'll be coming out soon, but I remember buying the physical disc expansions or DLCs for Fallout 3 and installing them onto my Xbox. Man, those were good times. So it's no real surprise that we're going to get plenty of DLCs for Starfield. And I would expect a similar cadence to Fallout 4, but maybe some slight changes, right? So Fallout 4 received 6 pieces of DLC content, 3 being settlement expansions to the workshop DLCs, 1 smaller expansion for Automatron that added the brand new robot crafting, and then 2 major expansions being Far Harbor and Nuka World. I'd expect a similar style for Starfield, getting some smaller DLCs for, say, Outposts, like expanding on the Outpost system, adding new items and crafting options to that, and then maybe some sort of major like mechanic expansion, something like shipbuilding expansion. You know, there's been reports that there was like some sort of star yard customization thing in there, so potentially that'll be some sort of a DLC to develop your own star yard, similar to say like developing your own vault in Fallout 4. And there's major story expansions on top of that that are obviously going to be the significant amount of new content that are going to add new areas. Now we should directly hear more about Shattered Space next year. You know, there is definitely more things that are going to be said about Starfield this year. And what's something that I thought was worth mentioning is that Fallout 4 was released in 2015 and all the DLC actually released in 2016 and almost on a monthly cadence, right? We got all 6 DLCs for Fallout 4 basically back to back. Now, I don't know if I would expect that to happen for Starfield, essentially having all the DLC released this year, but being that Shattered Space is the only official DLC we know about this year, I still would probably expect more things to come this year. Obviously, we have heard about more things coming, but potentially more official DLC. I think there's also a point to sort of discuss here about what DLC actually means in 2024, right? Especially for a company like Bethesda, and Bethesda Game Studios are now owned by Xbox. In the past, with all of their other titles, the main goal of these DLCs and expansions, etc., is to sell additional DLC and make additional income, right? Now, that's kind of changed now under Xbox because the main goal of Xbox is to sell Game Pass subscriptions. So technically, not all of these DLCs and updates to Starfield need to actually be behind a monetary barrier, right? And that really leads into the future updates that we've talked about. So BGS has also mentioned that there will be several features and updates coming in Starfield that are targeting updates roughly every 6 weeks starting in February. So they're going to be constantly updating the game on almost a monthly cadence. Now, you know what else happens monthly? Game Pass subscriptions. I'm not saying this is a bad thing or a good thing. I actually personally think this is a good thing, right? Like, you know, free DLCs and updates I don't think that's a bad thing at all, right? But what BGS actually say is that these updates will include everything from quality of life improvements to content and feature updates. Feature updates being probably the most interesting thing. Now, you can join the Steam beta branch to be the first to try these, which I'll absolutely be doing, and I'll have videos covering these on the channel when they do happen. But we'll be adding new ways to travel, and you'll now be able to access city maps while exploring the major cities. For those of you who love shipbuilding, we're expanding on shipbuilding customization with ship decorations, new shipbuilding options, and more. Potentially shipbuilding options, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe like adding additional ways that you can shape the ship, as it's very granular in, say, east to west, north to south, or on that XY axis, that sort of thing. We're also excited to be adding all new gameplay options. With these new settings, you'll be able to alter your gameplay to allow for an easier or more challenging experience that will expand beyond our normal difficulty setting. These will allow you to easily customize carry capacity, cargo access distance, ship damage, vendor credits, and how you suffer afflictions, new survival mechanics, and more. What's exciting to me here is new survival mechanics. I love survival modes in Bethesda games. One of the first videos I made on this channel was a guide to Fallout 4 survival mode. Fun fact for you there. And I would love to expand on this in Starfield, especially the afflictions. I feel like they are just so lacking, and obviously there's sort of a line you have to walk here as putting out a AAA game into not making this too punishing. And I think that Bethesda did a good job of walking that line, but adding the option for someone like me that just loves to be afflicted with afflictions is a good idea. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is the official mod support, which is also coming in 2024. And BGS have said that next official mod support will be coming to Starfield with the launch of Creations. Beginning early next year, Starfield will be getting its own exporter, and you'll have access to a new creation kit. Now, if you didn't know, Skyrim was recently updated to change Creation Club to just Creations, and it was also the relaunch of the paid mod system, allowing modders to be paid for official mods that are in the Creations page. This terminology is also used here, being the launch of Creations, and it's pretty clear that we can expect this creation system to be added to Starfield in 2024. It's very common for BGS to test things with Skyrim and then implement it into other games, and it seems like this is going to be the case with Starfield and Creations. I actually think this is a good thing for the game. Despite the negativity around paid mods, I think actually having a proper creation system that's well implemented is really good for the health of Starfield, Skyrim, and Fallout 4 if it does come with the next gen update there. And having a way for modders to actually earn income from their mods will also incentivize modders to make more in-depth and interesting creations, because you've got a monetary incentive to do that. And I think that's a positive for this future health of the game, that it will be supported beyond the future of when BGS is sort of done with it in that way. And having also the built-in mod menu into the game allows console players to get involved in free mods, right? Like, it doesn't have to be paid mods, but it allows them to be involved in customizing their experience in that way. And I, for one, even on PC, I do kind of like the implemented creation system, in that I can just add mods to the game without having to go to Nexus and go through all of that stuff outside of the game. There's just something that's so simple and easy about doing it inside a menu in the game and just being able to customize your experience there, and then boot up the game and you're sort of good to go. You don't get stuck in that loop of trying to find the mods you want to download and then they don't work and they do work, and then you might play the game for 5 minutes. It's easy just to quickly customize your experience and then keep on trucking. Now, I'm really interested to see where this goes for 2024, and I'm very interested to see on your opinion on what happens in 2024. What are you most excited about, and what do you think about this potential for a paid mod system for Starfield? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.